welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi, and in today's video we are going to be talking about how the first week of Lent has gone in the year 2026, which is this year. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the video. But before we hop into this video, go ahead and please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. It is completely free to do so. This would really help me out with my channel if you enjoy this type of content. Without further ado, now let's hop into the video. Hello everyone, so in this video, I wanted to talk about my honest reflection about how this first week of Lent has gone for me as a newly confirmed catechized Catholic. I was baptized into the Catholic Church in April of 2025, so this is my first official Lent as a Catholic. I wanted to talk about all the things I've done, things that I've struggled with, what I chose to fast and give up, and also what type of almsgiving I'm doing. I also wanted to look into where I'm messing up, where I'm doing right, and the struggles that I've had along the way. I really wanted to make this video to encourage new Catholics or just already Catholics. You may be a cradle Catholic. If you're struggling with Lent, I want you to know that you're not alone. Lent is a big change in our lives. It is a huge adjustment that we are making to attempt to get closer to God. And I definitely can attest and say that after this first week, I do feel like I have grown a lot closer to God in just these past 7 days. Now, I'm currently filming this on Tuesday, and this video should come out either Tuesday or Wednesday, but regardless, it's almost been or has been a week, so I wanted to look into the different things. So how did I start? So the first thing I did is I sat down and I created a Lenten plan. I actually have this Lenten plan here. I'm not going to show entirely specific details, but it was just a little printout that I found on the internet, and I decided to say that I was going to be fasting from, drumroll please, doom scrolling and social media. I realized that I have had a toxic relationship with TikTok. My screen time like last week, because it's only been a week of Lent, was atrocious. It was definitely up to 9 hours a day. Like I think I checked it an hour before I fell asleep, and it was at like 8 hours and 40 minutes, which is absolutely absurd and not okay. That is a third or more than a third of a day. It's just unacceptable. So I decided to tell myself, and I was really kind of noticing it like December 2025, that I was really struggling with scrolling, like the addiction of doom scrolling, looking through all the videos, and in particular comparing myself to other people. You see those what I do in a days, and I feel like I compared my life to the life of so many unrealistic social media content creators, and that just was not healthy. So I decided for this Lent to completely give it up. But how did I do that? Okay, so I decided to go on my screen time app, and I decided to set little timers. So the timers that I set were for 0 minutes, and let me pull it up on my phone just to confirm. So my limits are on Instagram and Twitter for 0 seconds, TikTok for 0 seconds, and then I also blocked Facebook and Snapchat. I decided that I was still going to allow myself YouTube videos, but I only want to watch YouTube if it's related to theology or Catholicism. I have a morning radio show that I watch every single morning, and I did not want to give that up because it is a Catholic radio show. So shout out to GRN. But I didn't want to give that up. So I figured let's keep the good things that are bringing me closer to God, like the Catholic radio shows, the Catholic videos that I watch online, Bible readings. I'm still going to continue that, still going to continue my rosary, but let's take away the negatives, which is doom scrolling, comparing myself to other people, worrying and having anxiety, which I will go more in depth about in a little bit. And I decided to give up the bad things and add good things in replacement of them. But first, I understand that if someone is clicking on this video and they have no idea what Lent is, if they are not Catholic. If they are Catholic and just confused, like, what is Lent? I'm going to do a quick little debrief of it. So Lent is a 40-day season in the Catholic Church. It begins on Ash Wednesday, which was last Wednesday. So Ash Wednesday, it is not a holy day of obligation as many people think, but what occurs on Ash Wednesday is that many Catholics will go to their local parish and they will receive ashes on their foreheads in the sign of a cross. Where do the ashes come from? They come from the palm trees from last year's Palm Sunday. And you might be wondering, like, what even is the point? The main point of having ashes on our foreheads is to remind us of our own mortality. Dust we came, from dust we shall return. It is reminding us that we are not immortal, that we are going to die one day, and that we really need to reflect on what we're doing here on earth, because our actions are ultimately going to be the deciding factor in whether or not we are entering heaven. And it also reminds us of Christ's ultimate sacrifice. And the main point of Lent is to prepare ourselves for Easter, for Jesus' sacrifice. And how are we going to do that? Well, we do that by sacrificing things ourselves for Jesus and for God. So Lent is a 40-day period, and it focuses on three main things. It focuses on fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. Now, almsgiving is a pretty big word, right? We know what prayer is and we know what fasting is, but what is almsgiving? Almsgiving is just a very fancy word for charity, so don't get that slipped up in your mind like, almsgiving, what does that mean? It's just charity, giving back to the poor, giving back to those in need, things of that sort. What is our main goal during Lent? And this is important to focus on every single day, and what I've been trying to focus on is at the end of each day, let me think, what's the main goal of Lent anyways? The main goal of Lent is to draw ourselves closer to God and reconnect ourselves with God. That is the ultimate goal of Lent. It's not trying to make yourself look better for other people. It's not doing all these prayers without thought and not pouring our heart into it. It's trying to reconnect ourselves to God in preparation for Easter, which was the death, crucifixion, and resurrection of our dearly beloved Lord Jesus Christ. Lent is about growing in relationship with God, not just about following rules. We shouldn't be like, okay, well, I have to fast from meat on Fridays and that's it. Because that's what you do, because you're Catholic. No, the goal is to connect ourselves with God. And a lot of times, or like from what I've heard on videos that I've watched from priests, a lot of priests say that people just give up very simple things like chocolate or something like insignificant in their lives, like giving up soda. But while that's not necessarily bad, is it really going to connect you with God? Like, we need to focus on the things in our lives that are providing us with the most distraction, for me, which would be doom scrolling. And we have to recognize that and be like, okay, well then I'm giving up doom scrolling. I'm giving up smoking. I'm giving up whatever it is, you know? So we have to really make sure that what we're giving up is something that is going to draw us closer to God by giving it up, if that makes sense. And I know it's already the first week of Lent, but it's not too late if you've realized, like, hey, what I originally was giving up, like chocolate, I think I could give up something much more deeper, like giving up smoking, because it is something that I've been addicted to for a long time that has been distracting me from God. That's how we should recognize these type of things. So going into what I chose to do for Lent, I decided to give up doom scrolling on various social media platforms, and I also decided to give up anxiety and worrying. This is really difficult for me because I am a worrier, I am an anxious person, but really working on myself and every single day being like, okay, I'm worrying about this, I need to stop worrying about it. And the goal for Lent is not for perfection. I feel like that's an unrealistic expectation because we're humans and we sin, but it's just trying our absolute hardest. So have I noticed myself worrying? Yes. But when I notice myself worrying, I say, okay, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I'm giving it up to God. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to, I thought about it and now I'm moving on past it because I can't control it. I really asked myself, what is distracting me from God? Where do I need more discipline in, which for me was getting off of my phone? And how can I make more space for prayer? Prayer is extremely impactful. And I noticed that while I had basic, like I had a morning prayer and I had night prayer and I prayed the rosary, I knew that I could up my prayer game and routine up a notch. So I really love the Hallow app. Now, the Hallow app isn't something like TikTok where you can scroll and stuff. It is where you can set up your own prayer routines. So I know for me, I decided to add, you're able to create your own routine, which is super helpful. And so I'm not going to go into all of them because I'm not making this video to be like, this is everything I'm doing and showing you how good of a Catholic I am. Like, that's not the message here. I just want to sort of do a reflection and say to my viewers and followers, well, how has your Lent been going? And really making this a conversation and not like bragging or anything in any type of way. But I created a good prayer routine where I've been able to practice new prayers and even the Divine Mercy Chaplet, which I really enjoy. Again, I'm not going to go into all of them because I don't want this to be a session of comparing, but it's just giving you all some tips and also just genuinely talking personally, honestly, about how this Lenten experience has been going for me. So I really love the Hallow app. I hope that you all download it. It's free and it's just really awesome. And I've noticed that my screen time has significantly decreased. It's gone from 8 hours and 30 minutes. One day it was like close to, I think, like an hour and 40, which was a major difference. It's been so good to just not be on my phone. I know that I do need to get better because I still notice I have it beside me a lot, or sometimes I'll just take it with me everywhere, and it's like, no, you don't have to bring your phone with you into the bathroom. You don't have to carry your phone and check it every 10 minutes. I did kind of notice, like, I check my emails a lot now because it's like one of the only apps I can go on. That's just something I'm gonna have to work on for week 2. So don't beat yourself up too bad. Just recognize where you can improve on and then improve for next week. But I feel like with the Hallow app, my prayers have definitely improved because now I can follow guided prayers rather than just praying. And I also noticed sometimes with the rosary, I would do it tired and wouldn't truly focus on the mysteries of the life of Jesus Christ. And now, like, feel like I've devoted myself a lot more to it, if that makes sense. But Lent has not been absolutely perfect. I've noticed that I have stressed out. Once or twice I've skipped a prayer because I've just been so tired. But it is important to recognize our flaws and not beat ourselves up for them, but just be like, okay, I'm going into week 2. And I know for me, I definitely want to make sure I'm hitting all the check marks of my prayer list, not because it's like a list of rules to follow, but because I genuinely want to do it. And I've recognized that praying really draws me closer to God. And I also feel like I could get better at not checking my phone as much because I tend to just look at my email, close my phone, look at my email, close my phone. But I feel like by the end of Lent, I'll be out of that habit. It's just something I have to keep working on. So yeah. When it comes to prayer, I actually have a question for you all. Do you prefer structured prayer or do you prefer spontaneous prayer? Let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, when it comes to giving up TikTok and lowering my screen time, it's probably been the hardest part for me. Besides, try not to worry about things because I'm just such a big worrier. But I noticed immediately that I would reach for my phone without thinking and I would open apps out of habit. And I did notice, like, I think I did not set a screen time for Pinterest, and then I noticed I would kind of scroll a little bit and I'll be like, whoa, wait, like the whole point is not to scroll. So I also set a time limit. I still use it to create and find the pictures for my TikTok videos, but I am trying not to scroll on it because it's just like, it's weird. It's like the habit of scrolling over and over again is somehow like relaxing, but it's a habit I'm going to break. But I'm going to stress this: awareness is the first step toward growth. So I invite you to ask yourself, how much time do you spend scrolling, for example? Or what do you notice is distracting you? Is there some time that could be given back to God that you've noticed is replaced by something else, like watching TV for 2 hours rather than talking to God for those 2 hours? I also wanted to talk about how it's been fasting from meat on Fridays. This is my first year doing it as a new Catholic. As Catholics, we abstain from meat on Fridays during Lent, and we also abstain from meat on Ash Wednesday. At first, like, fasting from meat can seem small, but it is very intentional. And a lot of people are like, why do we even fast from meat in the first place? Mainly, it's a traditional thing. Do you have to fast specifically from meat? No, you do not. But it is a traditional practice. Regardless, during Lent, we are invited to sacrifice things for God, sacrifice things that bring us pleasure. And a lot of times meat is a big pleasure. It's yummy. So this is my first time fasting from meat, but it's really been pretty great for me. Fasting in small ways, whether from meat or snacks or distractions, what it trains us in is it trains us in self-control, and that is the main reason behind it. And self-control helps us to say yes to God more easily. So I want y'all to let me know in the comment section down below how fasting for meat has been for you. Personally, I know for me it's been really great. I have to remind myself definitely every Friday, but I've had a lot of support with just my parents helping me make sure that I am abstaining from meat, and it's just really been cool. It's sort of interesting to know, like, I'm entering into this tradition, Catholic tradition that has been going on for centuries, and it's another great test of like self-control. I personally enjoy it, but what do y'all think? Is it a challenge for you? Let me know down below. And I want to stress that if you feel like Lent has been difficult, you are not alone. The first week is not easy. Staying consistent every single day, it is not easy. Choosing prayer when we feel tired, it is not easy. Trust me, that's one of my struggles. Like, it's 10:30 at night, but I know I want to do this one prayer. It's difficult, but pushing ourselves is so rewarding because it's drawing us closer to God. Talking to God whenever we can, it's drawing us closer to Him. Sitting in silence is specifically really difficult for me, but it's something I've been trying to do more recently. And whenever I am in silence, I've been trying extremely hard to sort of remember God, because there's a lot of times we forget about God in our day and go, "Hey God, thank you so much for this, and this. I love you so much. Hope you're doing good," yada, yada, yada. There were moments where I wanted to justify doing a quick scroll on my phone. There are moments where I didn't feel motivated to pray this week, but I am learning that discipline grows slowly. Lent is not about the intensity of it. It is about the faithfulness of it. So here's what I've learned so far from this first week of Lent. I learned that I rely on my phone a lot more than I thought I did. I learned that silence is uncomfortable, but it is extremely necessary. I learned that structured prayer actually helps me become more focused, and I actually prefer it over spontaneous prayer. I learned that small sacrifices like giving up meat reveal big habits. And overall, I've learned that the goal is connection with God, not a type of performance. And that last one is really important. Lent is not about impressing God. It is not about proving how disciplined we are. It is about growing our relationship with God. Everything that we should give up should create more room for Him. If my fasting does not lead me to prayer, then I'm missing the point of Lent. If my sacrifice does not soften my heart, then I need to refocus. Maybe your first week did not go perfectly. Maybe you missed prayer, or maybe you just felt spiritually dry like a lot of us do. That does not mean that you failed. Lent is 40 days long. Know that you can begin again today. I want you to reflect on, what is God trying to show you this Lent? Where is He inviting you to grow? And what is one small step that you can take this week to improve your relationship with God? And I am asking myself these very same questions. This first week has definitely been very eye-opening. It was really fun to share my experience so far as a new Catholic. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Let me know in the comment section down below how your Lent has been going. What are areas that you're struggling in? What are areas that you've been excelling in? Let me know in the comment section down below, because we are ultimately on this journey together. Thank you for listening. Once again, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this type of content or video, and I hope you all have a blessed Lent.